You're out there guys, this is Dale of Lone Wombat Airsoft, and today we're taking a look at the CZ P-09 gas blowback pistol by ASG. If you've not seen one of my video reviews before, the way I always do is I put timestamps in the description, so maybe there's a specific thing you want to find out about this gun, like you want to skip ahead to the shooting test, timestamps in the description, click on those, it's going to go to the part of the video that you're most interested in. And for everybody else, let's crack on with the review. The ASG P-09 is a one-to-one replica of CZ's P-09 handgun, a modern polymer-framed pistol with an external hammer. There was a slight increase in size and up revision over their previous iteration, the CZ-07. Whilst the 07 was quite compact and small and easily concealable, the 09 was designed to have larger capacity. It was originally chambered for 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson rounds. A couple of things to note about the ASG version is there are many versions available that they sell under the P-09 name. You have the base level, which is entirely polymer construction. You have the mid-tier, which I have here, which is a polymer frame and metal top slide. It also accepts CO2 mags and comes in the hard case. There is a second version of the mid-tier, which also has the external thread for attaching aftermarket suppressors to. This one does not have that. And then finally you've got the SP-01 Shadow, which is more like aimed at the race gun sort of guys. And whilst not exactly a P-09, the general shape of the pistol is so damn similar, I can guarantee that some people are going to get it mixed up regardless. So make sure you actually investigate which P-09 you're buying if you're looking into these. If you see a really cheap one, chances are it's the entirely polymer one, which whilst not a bad gun in its own right, does not have the metal top slide. Now I picked this gun up myself for £110 from ASP UK, and the gun can come in both black, tan, or a mix of both like I have here. So what else can you expect to turn up in the box when you order an ASG P-09? Nothing, honestly, is your answer. This does seem to be a bit of a running trend for ASG at the moment, but there are no little hidden goodies in the box. The box itself is quite nice though. It's this plastic hard case. It comes with this cardboard oversleeve that just gives a bit more advertisement and information about the product itself. That just comes off. And so, as I say, it comes with a plastic hard case. Really quite nice to not have a cardboard box for once. I take this to games all the times, and same with my cardboard boxes, but they tend to get a bit soggy when it starts getting damp, so nice to have a hard case for once. When you open it up, you will find your P-09, a 25 round gas magazine, and the manual. The manual itself is quite similar to the one I got in my Bren. You've got a lot of quite clear illustrated diagrams in here. Comes in both French, Spanish and English translations, and there are no hiccups in the translation itself. It's a bit light on wording, but it does get its point across quite efficiently. There's also plenty of packing foam inside the hard case itself with a nice little cutout for the pistol and the magazine. I can see no way of this pistol turning up damaged. It's got full coverage in terms of the packing foam, so really quite nice in that regard. It's a lovely little box, this. Aside for hidden goodies though, nothing. There's nothing else aside from what you've ordered. So if you're expecting something else like a speed loader, nah, out of luck with that one, I'm afraid. So, first impressions of the ASG P-09 when you pick it up then. Really quite good, I have to say. You've got the general polymer construction on the lower half of the frame here and the metal top slide, and it's just got a really quite nice confirming weight once you're holding it in your hands. It's very pointable. I do like the sheer amount of gripped textures on the pistol. You've got these slatted lines on the back and on the front of the pistol grip, and it's really quite nice, but I'm not sure what the texture pattern is. It just feels quite nice in your hands. You've also got a lot of chevrons cut into both the front and the back of the slide, which makes it quite easier when you're racking the pistol. So overall, good first impressions then. I tend to buy my pistols because they feel quite nice in my hands when I pick them up. This is no exception here. So when I just picked the pistol up, I just knew, right, okay, if it fires well, this is mine. And lo and behold, it did once I actually took it down on the range before buying it. So very good first impressions, but the lesson was learnt with my old XDM about first impressions. So let's have a little bit of a deeper look into it. So let's go over some of the features of the gun. Starting at the back, you have an exposed hammer. Now, a lot of modern pistol designs tend to be leaning more towards internal strikers. This one has the hammer that you can actually work with your thumb or racks back naturally when you use the slide. It's a personal preference thing. I kind of like exposed hammers. I think they're quite cool, but that's just my personal preference. One thing to note is when you actually just prime it by pulling the hammer back, you've not actually put a round in the chamber. You need to rack the slide to do that. So if there's a round already in there, then you can just use the hammer, but otherwise you won't be loading a round into the pistol. On the top of the slide you have a tri-dot sight, two at the back, one at the front. They are painted white, they're not tritium, they're not glow in the dark, nothing like that. But to be fair, on a pistol, a little basic tri-dot sight like that is all you really need, to be honest. Moving forward, on the left hand side, just in front of the hammer, is the safety. Once this red dot is showing, that means the gun is not on safe and pulling the trigger will fire it. Flipping the switch up will put it on safe. Little note about this, however, though, you can't actually put it on safe unless the hammer is pulled back. Then it will be allowed to put on. Pulling the trigger, you can still do it whilst it's on safe, but it's not connected to the hammer whilst you're doing this, so it won't fire. Pulling the safety down, expose the red dot, then the gun will fire. Moving forward again, on the left hand side you have the slide lock. Now anyone that's owned a gas blowback pistol knows how this works. Once you're out of ammo, the slide will lock back by so. You put a fresh mag in and then you push this tab down to release the slide and move it back into the ready position. It's chambered another round once you do that. So very basic operation with that. On the underside on the left is your mag release just behind the trigger. It is one side only, it is not on the right side, so this is not an ambidextrous mag release. Not end of the world though, to be fair, but why they couldn't make it ambidextrous, beyond me, to be fair. And that takes us quite nicely onto the magazine itself. So the one you get included with the gun runs on green gas and it's 25 round capacity. No problems with this magazine whatsoever. It's actually kind of alright with the cold. My old WE guns would just faint in horror at the idea of having to operate in winter, but so far the ASG P-09 has actually been really quite good for it, so no complaints with that. One little thing on the bottom of the mag though is this plastic cap. It's not really held on with anything. I'm not sure if it's supposed to or not, but it keeps sliding off like this, and it's just a little niggle. I think I'm going to lose it one day if I'm not careful, so just something to be aware of. I wish they'd have just like got a screw and screwed it into place or something, but anyhow, little niggle. Moving forward, we have the tack rail on the front of the pistol. Now you can mount a range of things. I personally favour running a torch and laser light combination on the bottom here, slots into that quite nicely, so no complaints with that. On the front of the barrel, there is no threading on the inside of this, so you can't add aftermarket suppressors or anything like that. As I said earlier, there is a version of this that you can buy that has an extended outer unit, and you can put suppressors on that. This one does not have that option. You need that specific version if it's a suppressor you're wanting to run. So to access the hop-up unit, little interesting way on how to do this. You've got two little notches right at the back here that need to be lined up, so you just pull the slide ever so slightly back so that those notches are lined up. Once that is the case, you push through this little tab here, which is the slide release. So we'll get those lined up, push the slide release out. You need to get them bang on, otherwise it's not going to happen. Then the slide is going to come off. And just here, this little wheel is your hop-up adjuster. You can use it with a thumbnail if you're in a pinch. It's really quite light to adjust. However, I've not had any problems with it adjusting itself mid-game, so no troubles with that. One thing about getting the slide back on, not only do you have to line up the little dots, it won't go back all the way unless you push this little tab down here down once you push the slide down. I have no idea what the purpose of that is. Putting the hammer down or not makes no difference whatsoever. There's just this little tab, so just push it down with your finger until the slide is over the top. Line those little cutouts on the side before you push this back in. More than a little bit fiddly. And there we go. Now the gun's back and ready to use. Okay, so reliability has been brilliant with this pistol. I have zero problems with the way it operates, how its reliability, what the gas efficiency is like. It's great, honestly. I especially needed a reliable pistol after my XDM, which was just all over the place. So I'm really happy that this pistol worked out so well for me. Zero complaints in the way it operates. The only little niggle I have is a plastic cap coming off the bottom of the magazine, but other than that, I absolutely adore this pistol. Zero reliability troubles with it. So when I was last down at the department CQB site in Leicester, I managed to get a shooting test done with this gun. The test was done with 0.25 gram BBs at a distance of 25 metres, and I was standing upright whilst firing. A little bit of a deviation from my usual shooting tests, but I think that is a bit more reflective both of the natural position you'll be taking when using a pistol, as well as the distances you'll be engaging with. So as can be seen from the firing test, this is a really accurate little pistol. I dumped the entire 25 round magazine downrange and 21 of those shots connected with the target. The pattern's fairly consistent, honestly, and considering that both I was standing upright whilst I was firing and I was really snapping off quick shots at the end of it, this is a really accurate little pistol. And that definitely reflects my experience of it in games as well. I've never felt that it was the pistol's fault that I missed a target. It's always human error. It has never let me down at the ranges you're supposed to be using one at. Obviously, I don't try and snipe people at long ranges with it. It's a handgun, it's supposed to be a backup. But in the situations where a handgun is required, this performs really well. Also, whilst I was at the department, I managed to get it chronoed. The chrono test was done with 0.2 gram BBs. Go. 298, 304, 307, 303. So, as can be seen, or rather heard to be honest, the Chrono had quite a bright screen in a really dark room. The pistol is firing just over the 300 FPS mark, which is well under the 350 that is required for most CQB sites. So there is not a place in the country where you can't take this pistol. It's good for CQB sites anywhere, which is really great because that's one of the two areas that the pistols really excel in. If you do want to bump the power up a little bit, however, there is the option of the CO2 magazines that it can accept. I do not currently own one, however, so I can't accurately say what the FPS value of that CO2 mag would be. So, where do you want to be on the airsoft field to get the absolute most out of this gun? Well, pistols tend to fill two very specific niches on the airsoft field. The first is as a backup gun. Say, for example, your primary gun is just jammed, or maybe you're a sniper and someone's within your minimum engagement range, or maybe you're going into an indoor environment and your main gun's just too long to be manoeuvrable, it's hard to get around the corners. That is when a pistol comes into its own, which leads quite nicely onto the second place where you use a pistol, and that is the CQB environment. There is nothing that is lighter or more manoeuvrable or more reactionary than a pistol is in close quarters. Would I recommend using it as a primary? No, I can't say I would. In a normal CQB site, I think like a little submachine gun that's an AEG, you can have high capacity magazines, full auto, extended mags, which this does not have. You only get the 25 rounds. I wouldn't recommend it running as a primary. You'd be forever swapping out magazines if you needed to. However, if you keep it within its comfort zone as a backup, or just for the quick, right, I need to clear this building now, handgun comes out. The P-09 is brilliant in that role. It really excels in those two positions. So make sure it keeps within its comfort zone, and this pistol will not let you down. So ultimately then, would I recommend buying the ASG P-09? Well, if you've completely missed all the signs I've been giving off during this video, I adore this pistol so much. It's completely restored my faith in gas blowbacks. After the burn I had with my WEXDM, I needed something that was just reliable. Thank Christ this little gun came along and did just that. It's restored my faith in gas blowbacks, so I've had so much fun with it. It's been a reliable little backup for me. The only complaint I have is the little plastic bit on the mag that sometimes slips off. That's it. The performance is brilliant, and it's priced slap bang in the middle of most competitive pistols. It's got to fight for shelf space. There are so many different options available for this price point. So what I'd recommend doing is going to a shop, physically put the thing in your hands and ask yourself, does it feel right? Does it feel nice in your hands? If the answer is yes, then from a purely performance perspective, I can say that yes, absolutely buy the gun. It will not let you down. It has never let me down, and I'm going to defend this gun with my dying breath. I absolutely adore this pistol. Now, I hope you've enjoyed my review of the ASG P-09 gas blowback. If you've got any questions you'd like to ask me or feedback you'd like to give, maybe you own a P-09 as well and you want to share your own thoughts on it, leave a comment in the description down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And until next time, this has been Dale of Lone Wombat Airsoft.